I will start. So thanks to everyone. Thanks to Safe, and thanks to all of you. I'm pretty happy and glad to share the presentation that I will share to you, because it's a really important project that personally I was involved in, me and the association that I will talk about it later. Just some practical things. It's a long presentation, and I will try to don't be so boring, and to keep it like in different steps. So I will start to do a presentation. I will try to understand if you understand something, and if you have so many questions. And so I prefer to present some part and to have a contact with you, and then don't wait for the long-lasting presentation and to get the Q&A at the end. Okay. Another things is actually the presentation that I will do is actually have two main objectives. One is to show to you some projects that have been performing in using the permaculture design approach. And the other aim is actually to support the education of the permaculture. So if you say I will try to keep two different streamlines in the presentation. One to show you actually what have been performed, and on the other line, what is the theoretical approach that have been used for. So there is so I think probably some of the well, I hope some of the concept it will be something that you should already know from the course. Okay, so just a second at that. Okay, permaculture design methodology. I will use I will share to you a project that where the main objective of this project, it was to build a permaculture demonstration site, and using a permaculture design methodology. You see in this first slide, there's quite a lot of information. You see on the corner, you see the different stakeholder or partner that have been involved. On top, there is the e-contact. There is actually an Italian organization and association. Well, most of the members are engineers like me, and we work in international cooperation. We work in Italy and abroad, and we get some funding to support this project. And you get on the left, you get where the money have come from. This is from the Valdesian Church. But I will speak later about this. And Habiba, the organic farm, is on the other corner. Is actually the local stakeholder, local partner involved in the project. In the middle, you see a historical picture of nomads. We are talking about Bedouins. The place of the project is actually Sinai, Egypt. Let's see. This is this is the landscape that actually I got in front of me for like 4 years. This is the time lapse that was required to support the project. And you see, this is actually is a beautiful picture that I got from the roof of a building that actually is a learning center that I will speak later. You see, this is on the roof. The roof is made of wood, timber, and there is actually two narrow straight lines to the mountain. The picture remind me how even in the Bedouin point of view, everything comes from the mountain and everything go back to the mountain. Water, soil, silt, lives, everything comes from the mountain and go to the sea and come back. Okay, this is a really a recap. I will remember to you, but I know you are already a permaculture practitioner. Sorry, I have to admit someone. Okay, so just to remember, what does it mean to do a project specifically with the permaculture approach? Okay, this is. I have to remember that we have an ethics. We have some principle. You see here we have the 3 ethics and the 12 principle. Just some tips. During the presentation, you will look at several slides, and actually for each slide, you see there will be copy paste this logo. This is actually remember you and suggest to you which is the principle that have been applied and have been used for the specific part of the project. So I will recollect the principle in use for the specific part, but this is the graphical convention that we will use. So ethic and principle, we have an approach that I will declare. Tools and language, I will use during the presentation. I have a standard language. That is the SysML. That is the modeling language for the system modeling. And I will show to you which are the deliverables. So which for each phase of the design, which are the outcome. So the deliverable document that have been produced during the development of this project. Sorry. Okay, several people are coming in. This is the approach. Is the already met. You see different steps, you know already, because I've been touching during the course. So I will spend some time on the first step that for me is the most important above all the next. Observe, because this is the one of the most important part, because is the place and time where actually the designer can collect information and inputs that are essential needs to perform the further step of the design process. And actually in the project where in this project it was essential to collect information from a place where actually there are not a lot. The project is placed in the desert. Just to remind you, the approach, the practical approach is following this straight line. When you place, when you try to perform a permaculture approach, you have to keep in mind the first step, observation, allow you to define which are the actor, which are the elements that will be involved in the project. Then the functional analysis it could be performed for each element to understand what they are used for, what is their activity, what are their function, and what they can produce, and which elements, other elements and needs they have. So after the functional analysis, it's possible to perform and to design the architecture of a system, put in the same schema the different element, and try to get back a possible and functional architecture. This is actually well, it seems easy, it's not, but it's straightforward. Observe, think about, design, and try to sort it out an option and a schema that should satisfy the project requirement. So this is what I did in the project. And now I'm gonna talk more in depth about the project itself. Okay, first of all, where we are. This is a map, geographical map of the place. So as you see, we are in Egypt, and we are not in Africa. We are in Asia. We are in Sinai. You see, well, most of you, I suppose, know Sharm el Sheikh, because it's a practical, well, it's really a commercial, I would say, tourist site. Okay, the place where we perform this project is actually not Sharm el Sheikh, but it's not far away from. Like 200k far from Sharm el Sheikh. So in the middle between Sharm el Sheikh and you see the border with Israel. Okay, there is this little village that is called Nuweiba. Nuweiba is in Bedouin language. Observe. You see on the corner on the left, there is the logo of the principle, observe and interact. First of all, I was there, and actually the project started in the 2014. The first time I was there, actually it was the first time I was in Egypt, and for me it was everything was new. So the first of all, I tried to observe and collect all the information sorry, I have to allow to enter in. Okay. So territorial analysis. So this is the place. It's actually, you see on the left that we have the Cairo and, well, the mainland of Egypt. On the right we have the Sinai. You see the region we are talking about is on the seaside. You see when there are the cross of the black lines, you see this is the place of the project. So the analysis here is a bit well, different from what is normally performed during the zone and sector analysis, because it is not on the farm area, but is more on a country area. Well, the important things that it was possible to get and collect, it was to see the different commercial line and commercial routes that it was possible to get from the village. You see, one commercial, it was for sure toward Sharm el Sheikh, and the other for sure toward Cairo, and the other on the up to the north toward Israel. During the 2014 already, there was some event of terrorism attack, mainly on the capital, Cairo. But most important for us, it was some event on the border with Israel. So this is important because this has some side effect on the tourism and has some side effect on the commercial routes. We are talking about a farm. Well, a farm with several business One is the agriculture production, and one is the tourism, permaculture tourism, we can say. And so, you know, it's important to know if it's possible to transit the agricultural products, the crop, and to commerce and to sell abroad. And even for the tourism, to know if the people are allowed to come and to visit this place in a safe way. So this was important to understand. Let's see.
Apologies, Paolo, just before you continue, apparently other people are in the waiting room. If you could just admit them.
Wait. Invite. I don't see other people. But I admit like 5 of 6 people just 30 seconds ago.
Okay, so it
I don't
works
know.
perfectly. Thanks.
Okay. So here we go. We zoom in. We're going deep in the site. You see the red circle is actually the place where I was. You remember that the first slide on the roof of the building looking at the mountain. So yeah, this is actually placed in the circle, in the red circle where it's the red arrow. The site is in the as you see, is in the middle between the mountains and the sea. You see, you try to figure out how could be the climate. You see down, you get some data about the rainings. Most precipitation falls in February, as you see. Well, most. The precipitation we are talking about 3 millimeter. I don't know where you come from, but well, 3 millimeter is really not a lot. Where actually I live in Italy, in the north side of Italy, we get yearly we get 900. So try to figure out how few water is 3 millimeter, not a lot. But another thing is actually that the rainfall fall on the mountain, and on the mountain actually there is not a lot of organic matter. So the water, the rainfall on the mountain will be it's actually collect all of the water, the quantity of the water, it will be collected and slide down in the middle. You see in the mountain there is this sort of the trace of the river. Okay, so when there is the rain, actually all the water will be collected and will slide down, producing a flooding on the place where there is the rest spot. So actually, this is the things. There will be actually there are no water for most of the time, but when there are precipitation, you get actually flooding. So this is the situation. So as you see, the important thing is to understand how to collect the water and don't allow the water to go directly to the sea, but to keep and to perform, I don't know, the water catchment or any kind of techniques to keep the water for the irrigation of the fields, and to allow agriculture in this place. The orientation, you see, in this way, we have the mountain on the left and the seaside on the right. So the orientation in this way expose during the day the front to the cold sea breeze coming from the sea, and is facing the backside on the mountain where the warm air goes up. So you know, there's a different scenario, thermal scenario during the day and during the night. So during the night time, the cold air coming from the mountain embrace the backside, getting the heat toward the seaside. So so we have a sort of wind. You see on the left there is like a wind direction diagram. You see there are two main components. One is east-west, and this is produced by this difference of temperature between the two sides of the spot. And the other component is toward the northeast. That is the other permanent wind flow. Okay, so here we have the sector analysis. You see the red spot that we got on the previous slide here. You know, we go in zoom in. So nice to understand that in every place you go, the zone analysis and sector analysis can provide to you some really important information. So zone 0 is actually the farm. You see outside is the place where with more frequency the people living and working in the farm was used to go. You see, well, some important information. Well, it's possible something that in other places is not normal, but in this place you see the sector in the north side, the noise sector, because there was a mosque. So every day there was the sound coming from at 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So it's actually, there was like a noise sector. So it was well, important. You know, with this kind of diagram, it's important not to understand what it will be where the information will be used, but the diagram is important to collect information as they are present in the place. Okay, so in this kind of diagram, the designer can collect all the information without any hints and thinking about how to use. Okay, so another sector you see on the south west, you see pest sector, because there was a recycle center on this side. So during the summertime, when the temperature were rising, a lot of insects and smell was coming from this sector. So important to observe and to put on this diagram this kind of information. Well, another things important, we say, well, terrorism is actually in before we were talking about international terrorism. In this place we have another kind of events, I would say, because the farm actually is exactly in the middle, in the border between two different Bedouin community that normally spend a lot of time fighting each other. So it was important to trace even this. to understand how it will be possible and safe to continue the activity of the project. Okay, so this is, I think, is one of the most important slides of the presentation, and I explain why. You see on the top picture is suggesting that the principle of observe and interaction is in act. You can imagine how it was for me the first time I was there. I was in the 2014. I was there, and I was collecting information and understanding what could have been the needs of the people, and try to understand. And they will say the people was trying to get some support to raise to create agriculture and to create a economical income. Okay, but for me it was actually weird to go around and to see nothing. For me, it's actually the first time I was there in the desert. For me, there was a plenty space of nothing, because for me, actually, I was trying to keep my methods, the schema that it was in my mind to observe the nature, that it was completely different. For me, it was not so possible to see anything there. And so what I did, and I did for actually several weeks, actually I was walking. I was walking and walking with the MP3 on my head, and I was walking, trying to figure out what it was possible to do in a place like that. And after walking, because I think walking is a sort of meditation, it allows you to get to a different stage of your perception. And after several days walking, something changed. After a while, I discovered there was something in the desert. It was possible to see, with some accuracy in the observation, to see several differences in between was before for me a plain site. You see on the left, you see you can see in the desert even a ridge or even a difference of any object or any different slope can actually produce a different climate context. You see, any slopes and morphological shape can actually produce a difference, like a boundary between a surface that normally, that can go after the sunlight, and another part that will be in shade. You see, in the desert there is actually a huge, consistent difference of temperature between what is under the sun and what is under the what is on the shade. So if you have a difference of temperature between two places of the same object, you get a difference of temperature means a difference of gradient. Gradients means a flow, a airflow. So what I discovered is actually that every time it was possible to get a difference, a different object or some context like this, it was possible to get some moisture on the shade side. And this actually is the way the nature support the life in a place like the desert. You know, the dew, wait, sorry, that I missed some other people. Okay, so the dew in the morning maybe is, you know, like a small particle of dew in the morning can provide all the water that needs plants to survive and thrive in a context like this. Okay, so this was an observation from the nature that was important because in my mind I discovered some pattern that it was possible to use in the farm to grow veggies. And you see in the slide, in the picture that is on the bottom, you see a natural pattern. Every time there is a slope, there is the possibility to get some dew and some water, and you know, you see the organic matter, the other essential part that we need to get vegetation. You see the organic matter normally gets stuck on the ridge. So we get water, we get organic matter, and the shrubs and plants allow to survive. Another observation that I did is actually, you see on the top right, there is actually a schema that I study to understand how the water flow coming from the mountain was actually naturally flowing down to the seaside. So it was important to me to understand how it was possible to get the water from this flow and to catch the water and to let the water to flow toward the farm where I was trying to get agriculture. Because in the Wadis is actually the Bedouin name of the creek in the mountain. The floods periods are violent, and actually it's not possible to effectively dam the violent flow. And so what is normally is performed even naturally is actually to fill is actually that the water come down. It is not possible to put like a straight dam in front of the flow of water flow, but it's better to get like a water catchment and to spill out the water from the side of the water flow, and it's important to see that the water actually is not only water. It's actually the water comes from the mountain where the organic matter is stuck. So when there are the flooding, it comes to the plain flat. It comes water and silt. And these are the ingredients that we need. We need the water, we need the silt, the organic matter, and we have to understand how a more morphological pattern can allow the life to survive in this place and to keep the water. Because as we see before, actually the water comes in February, but we have to, you know, the people and the Bedouin have to study a way to keep the water for all the year, the long lasting the year. So tricky.